Hey fellas, so this is something of a trial run for my book review format, so I'm really going to need some good honest feedback on how to improve it going forward. I have a lot of stuff I'd like to go over, and like I've said in my community posts, I'm not sure how many people actually read those or if they come across your feeds at all, but I am looking on diversifying my content from here on out, not just doing the same Warhammer stuff. And making this channel finally gave me the excuse to actually go back and revisit or visit things I passed over when I was younger. With that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoy. As always, any likes or comments are really appreciated. It helps boost this video in the algorithm. With all that out of the way, let's get started. Hellboy Seed of Destruction is the first story involving the titular Hellboy, a 4-issue story arc released between March and June of 1994, and the recipient of two 1995 Eisner Awards. One to Hellboy's creator Mike Mignola for Best Writer and Artist, and one for the trade paperback reprinting of the story arc for Best Graphic Novel. This story arc also served as the foundation for the 2004 film adaptation of Hellboy. However good the adaptation is, it is loose at best. Maybe after I give the film a rewatch, I'll make a review on that as well. I haven't seen it in a long time now. And for the sake of clarity, it did serve as my introduction to the character, so I do have some nostalgia goggles when it comes to the movie. This introductory story to the Hellboy character was actually co-written by Mike Mignola and John Byrne, a comic book veteran in his own right, known for his runs on both Superman and the Fantastic Four, in DC and Marvel respectively. And the Seed of Destruction story arc serves as both prologue to the series and origin story to the character of Hellboy himself, mostly in terms of how a demon man appeared on Earth in the first place. Or rather, a small demonic boy. You see, a group of people who could not see in the long term performed an occult ritual led by a Russian madman. A ritual he claimed would win the Germans the war that happened to have occurred in the 1940s. The fact that I have to dance around a historical topic is actually embarrassing. YouTube needs to fix this censorship now. Regardless, the story makes it very clear that this is just the beginning of bad things to come. Whatever separated our material world to the supernatural forces was permanently damaged here, and was essentially the trigger event for a coming apocalypse. And no, I actually cannot spoil this. I literally just finished reading Seed of Destruction for the first time. I am going into the rest of the Hellboy series completely blind. My only experience with the character being the 2 live-action films and the animated film Sword of Storms, which I will also rewatch and make a video about at some point. After being found in the 1940s, Hellboy ends up being raised by an agent of the BPRD, or Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense, who happened to have been there at the time, working alongside the United States military, alongside a superhero known as the Torch of Liberty. His name is Trevor Broomholm, and he's just returned from an expedition to the Arctic. The only known survivor of the expedition with no functional memory on how he was able to return back to New York City. He's confused and disoriented and is barely able to get out to his adoptive son what happened to him. A hardened field agent of the BPRD in his own right, Professor Broomholm is shaken, and unfortunately the old man meets an undignified end. In my opinion, the film did his end much better, but I digress. Hellboy ends up in a confrontation with a strange humanoid frog monster. The suckers on its tongue capable of paralyzing even his body, although his stone right hand is immune to its toxins. Hellboy manages to slay the creature with a single shot from his revolver, reducing the creature to a pile of human bones. The mystery thickens, and clearly establishes that in this universe there are fates far worse than death, like being turned into a gross frog monster. Following this battle in his adopted father's house, Hellboy leads his family to the Cavendish estate, the pyrokinetic Liz Sherman, and the enigmatic creature known as Abe Sapien, and I will not spoil what happens in the story from here on out. Hellboy establishes itself as a dark fantasy with Lovecraftian elements sewn in. Dark family lineages holding evil secrets, celestial monsters beyond the border of time and space, on top of the Judeo-Christian trappings of heaven and hell, and a noir aesthetic presented through the protagonist's inner monologue. further complemented by the use of heavy shadows for the sake of contrast. And I didn't even mention the elements of spy thriller and military drama underneath all of that. Hellboy is a unique genre-bending experience, and has been one of the cornerstones of independent comic books here in America for a very long time. And I am very much looking forward to reading the rest of the series, as I have recently picked up all 4 omnibus volumes of the Hellboy series. And after reviewing all of the major story arcs, I would like to return to the series as a whole for one long-form video. But like I said, for now, I'm just testing out this new format. You'll notice I refrain from making jokes unlike most of my Warhammer videos, and to an extent, I think I just respect Hellboy more on a creative level. It is very clearly one creative person's vision and not a mishmash of plagiarized ideas. I like Warhammer in the sense it's like all the toys being dumped out of the box at once and all thrown together in one big battle royale. Hellboy just feels different, and it's hard to explain. I have the exact same feeling I did the first time I read Frank Miller's Sin City series. I feel like I'm about to go on an unforgettable journey. And there's a pretty long video essay I've seen floating around YouTube that I haven't actually watched yet that referred to Hellboy as America's Berserk. And in my opinion, that is a very flattering comparison, and I would like to see that for myself. Before I go, I would like to say that I have read some of Mike Mignola's other work before. The Doom That Came to Gotham is one of my favorite Batman stories of all time, and if you haven't read it, I highly recommend doing so. I am not going to cover this in a video anytime soon because I definitely would need to give it another read, but in a lot of ways it's essentially if H.P. Lovecraft wrote Batman. It is one hell of an experience that I have never stopped thinking about. And in my opinion, it is far superior to Gotham by Gaslight. With that done, I'd like to thank you guys for giving this video a watch. I would really appreciate whatever feedback you can give me on this one. If you guys think it would be better content for me to just go full spoilers from here on out, I would definitely understand that. I just really want people to read this comic for themselves. And I don't want to guide anybody to my conclusions about the story. I want you to read it and experience it for yourself. I'm not some snobby pseudo-intellectual trying to tell you how everything is genius and secretly codifies my personal beliefs. It is one of the best independent comic books of all time, and I'm saying that after only having read the first arc. Please don't spoil the series for me, although I will say for the most part spoilers don't really bother me. But at this point I'm just rambling. Thanks again for watching. All likes and comments are very much appreciated. And with that I'm just going to say have a good one. I'm out.